Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prospero.ai stock market live streams. We have a wild day currently underway in the markets with the QQQ having now gone into the red. And I don't think anybody would have guessed that when we all saw Oracle shoot up over 40% after their historic earnings. We're going to get into a lot of these details throughout the stream today. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're having a great day in the markets. If you're new or an OG viewer, hit that like button if you're excited for the streams today and you get value out of the streams. Follow us on X if you're not a follower yet, and subscribe on YouTube. For YouTube, the chase is on for 3,000 subscribers. I believe we are just under 100 away now. So everybody's got to head on over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're at 2,904, so 96 away. Let's get there sooner rather than later. But without further ado, I'll take you guys through the topics we're going to get into on the stream today. As always, we'll go through the topics once George gets in here, and then we'll do the model portfolio update at the end of the stream. So, of course, we're going to be covering the PPI coming in this morning and what we're expecting for the CPI tomorrow. Interesting note about September 11th. In the markets, it's usually a green day. So only 2 red September 11th trading days have occurred since the event. So usually a bullish day in the markets. We're also going to be discussing the Oracle earnings and the fact that Larry Ellison is now teeter-tottering. He might not be anymore because I saw Oracle went down a bit, but he was at one point today the richest man in the world, as reported by Bloomberg, and if he's not there right now, he's neck and neck with Elon Musk. And just an absolutely insane move to see from such a massive company. The Magnificent Seven seems to be growing as we're getting new companies either achieving the $1 trillion mark or getting super close. Now Oracle is like knocking on the doorstep. I think they're over $900 billion market cap now. So crazy move from that stock. And I feel like it came at a time just when everybody was starting to wonder, how much legs does the AI rally have left? So I'm going to be asking George what inning he thinks we are in, because this was a popular topic, I feel like probably almost a year ago now, like what inning of the AI rally. You had a lot of different opinions, whether we were in the second, third inning or a later inning. I'm curious on where he thinks we are now that we've seen kind of this next level of AI hype with, Broadcom stock popping again. Obviously, NVIDIA keeps on climbing. Now the Oracle's news, and we saw NBIS make a crazy move recently. So it seems like the AI optimism is as high as it's ever been currently in the markets. So we're going to go over that probably for a while. I'll bring up some of the chip stocks, like obviously Broadcom, NVIDIA, TSM had an interesting data point for their August revenue, which was up a lot. So we'll go through all of that today. Then I'm going to cover 2 stocks that are not feeling the bullishness today. There's actually a lot of stocks underneath the surface that are not making, not in the green today. We're actually seeing the Dow Jones and the Russell and the QQQ all in the red right now. SPY is the only one in the green. So 2 stocks making large downward moves are Chewy and Trade Desk, both for different reasons, but we'll go through both of them and see if they are buy the dip candidates now that Chewy is down over 16% today. Trade Desk down 10% today, and that's a stock that has just stunk so far in 2025. So we'll see if either of those are interesting. I see we got some comments on YouTube. Hello to JC. I see your comment. Hello from the New York City metro area. That's exactly where I am, JC. Are you in New Jersey? I wonder if we're near each other. Thank you for tuning into the stream, saying hi in the chat. Mario is here as well. Afternoon all from CDMX. Hello, Mario. Love to see your name in the chat as well. Let me take you through a few more topics now. But before I do, let me just say, because we got a lot of people in here already, if you're new, what we like to do is answer, whatever stocks you have questions about specifically. So let us know in the chat if you're watching on Twitter, X, or YouTube. Just feel free to leave us a comment, and we will definitely get to it. Westchester. So I'm in Bergen County, so I don't think we are too close to each other. I'm not sure, though. Is Westchester New York or PA? I feel like there's 2 of them that I'm thinking of. But regardless, another topic we're going to get into today is Amazon Zoox officially debuting in Las Vegas. So now we have the big 3 seemingly all with their products. We have Google with Waymo, Tesla Robotaxi, and now Amazon with Zoox. I want to ask George how he thinks it's going to shake out. One bridge between us. All right, it's not too far. How things are going to shake out with the big three. I think everybody kind of feels like Tesla is in first right now. Does he think it'll be Tesla, Google, Amazon in that order of market share for this sector or business or industry? And then also, how long until he thinks that um, these robo taxi services, these full self driving, will be a common everyday occurrence where it's not going to be like a rarity or just in a few cities? Like, how quickly does he think these products can expand? Mike C is in our chat, also tuning in from California. So look at that. The Prospero viewers are all the way here in New York City, the East Coast of the USA to the West Coast. If anybody's watching internationally, I know Mario already commented, but let us know if you're a worldwide viewer. Love to see the Prospero audience around the world watching these streams. But last but not least on the stream today, another topic I want to bring up is some of these crypto miners are making pretty insane moves. So I have a list of 4 of them, and there's a lot more that I could have, added to the list. But Iron, Hut 8, Riot, Cypher, a lot of these stocks are making 50% plus moves just in the past month. So I want to ask George, if you're a shareholder in these companies, how should you manage your position in those stocks? Should you be trimming at this point? Also, Mara, which was at one time, I thought everybody was thinking of Mara as kind of like the best in class crypto miner, has not made a similar move. It's actually slightly red for the past month. So if he doesn't believe that you should be trimming those other stocks, does he think maybe, buy one of the laggards in Mara? Could we get an update on the alerts kickoff, please? Mike, you got it. When George gets in here, we'll have him answer that for you for sure. I did listen to George on a space yesterday, and I think if you're an investor in the crowd fund, and I'll let him say because I think you have to. George is actually tuning in here right now, so we can get a good answer. But I think it's going to be like next week or possibly the week after. So George, we got a question from Mike about the alerts kickoff. I know you usually do some things when you get in here, but you want to just answer him quickly while you're here?
Yeah, I mean, so basically we want to we actually had a lot of new people join the crowdfund this week, which is great. So we don't really want to be like, constantly adding people. That's why we're doing like this. It's like it's a manual process. And uh so basically how it's going to go is Sunday we're going to do a last call and give people probably about 24 hours, maybe, like, we don't want to exclude too many people. Like right now, of the over 100 people eligible on the crowd fund, we only have 50 signups, so we do want to make sure we give people a chance. Then we're going to get the emails done by hopefully by Monday. But we might do one more call if we feel we're like going to leave too many people out. But I'd say by the middle of the week, we're going to be letting people in. We're good to go on it. Like, my only concern is, like I said, we're only going to do this, once in September, once in October. So we want to make sure everyone gets a chance to get in. That's really the limiting factor. But yeah, pretty excited. I've been looking at the results, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's been a while since we released a new product, so it's exciting. It's like the beginning of a first day of school jitters.
It's going to be a new era for Prospero, and I bet some people wish they had the trade alerts if it was going to be Oracle yesterday, because that stock is going crazy today. But just to set the tone for you here, like, it feels like a very confusing market day. So we had Oracle climbing as high as 42% at one point today, which added about 300 billion to market cap, had them approaching a $1 trillion company. But even while this was going on, and because of Oracle, Broadcom and Nvidia, the titans and multi-trillion dollar companies themselves, were up like 5 to 10%. And yet the QQQ is red now. And it just seems like such a strange day in the markets. You had all of this like seemingly bullish momentum in a lot of these like AI driven areas of the market, which have carried us. And yet there was a lot of stocks also down, and now we're actually even in the red. And then also, when you look in Prospero at the SPY and QQQ net option sentiment, you see 5 and 6 for both of them. So, and this is just after they had been so bullish. So it seems like we're just in such a seesaw market at this point. How are you viewing like the activity you're seeing across the board of stocks today? It seems like everybody's on edge, like nobody's trusting the bullishness that they're seeing or just seeing the market climb every day. People aren't trusting it. Is that what you feel too, or how are you feeling about what you're seeing in the market today?
Um, it's like, first of all, actually, I wanted to address Oracle, and I wish someone like I wish the Oracle followers, because I've had a few people actually be like, "Oh, I invested in Oracle. I saw it on Prospero," um, and like we probably should have. It wasn't actually until I was looking today at the time series one, and it's crazy. Oracle was at um, Oracle was at like I want to get this right. It was at 37 net option sentiment at 9:40 a.m. on September 4th. And by the end of that day, it was at 70 on September 4th. It opened September 5th at 91, right? That's about as clear as possible, I think, as people were gonna like started to get wind of these earnings. And like, yeah, that's where I'm just like, sometimes I don't dig enough. Like, because I definitely would have played earnings if I had seen like that big of a jump. So yeah, it's like it's one of those misses. But what I would also say, and why this transitions well into the other topic, is part of this miss is the like unstable markets. Like honestly, I'm kicking myself maybe even more because I was about to pull the trigger on CoreWeave yesterday. Because we've been playing it pretty much to the letter. If net option sentiment is low, we're out. Net option sentiment is high, it's in. And it was back up in the 90s yesterday before this, but the volatility QQQ net option sentiment was sitting at 13. Kind of when I was looking at that yesterday, like the volatility is very complicated. And what I would say, like in terms of your statement on that, I think what is clear is a big part of the rally today is just a lot of AI names around Oracle, right? And like kind of what I'm saying, and I think what is interesting is, I think we're entering a new phase of AI, where I think a lot of the early phase of it was, the cloud providers obviously were really growing, and I think that's because the cloud providers are more inbound; they don't have big sales staffs. So I think a lot of the people that wanted to be adopters of AI were coming to, the Google, like, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. And I think what we're now seeing from Oracle is kind of like a more old guard company, more focused on like B2B, like sales, I think dragging more people into the AI age. And that's why I think like, every, infrastructure chip maker and their mother is going up today, right? Because I think that is how the market's reading it, where it's just like, okay, like even these foot draggers on AI, these organizations that are not going to be the early movers, they're starting to raise, because Oracle raised on guidance. That's when it went crazy. So I think that that's what the market is showing, and that's what's like that is why the QQQ is down today. And I actually heard a really interesting thing about the ETF mechanics that I hadn't heard yet, which is that when some constituents in the QQQ get bought, it means others are sold. I heard that, like, I didn't actually know this, like Starbucks, Costco, Pepsi, they're all in the QQQ. And, these ETF mechanics, a lot of, when Nvidia is getting bought, these other companies are getting sold on the other side pretty reliably, which is a big change. So I think, yeah, it's, I think we're seeing, and I kind of wrote about this in a recent letter. I think what we're seeing is a very sensitive headline risk management. Like, I don't think a fund manager wants to be sitting in front of their at their quarterly meeting and say like, I lost money shorting the market at all-time highs, right? But I also don't think they want to be sitting there if the market dips a lot saying that they weren't ready for that, because there are economic concerns. We all, we are at all-time highs. We are kind of, due for a correction, whatever that means. So I think that's where it's very tough here, right? I think that, basically what we're seeing is institutions and a lot of momentum trades. We kind of saw it last Friday. If it starts to go down, they don't want to be left. They don't want to be the one that wasn't prepared for the market to go down. But the second it turns, we're getting this heavy momentum, or if there's a positive news event. And I think that's the market that we're in. And, unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, right? Fortunately for you, if you're someone that's long only that wants to play growth, that's either going to mean this market is going to either mean very good things or very bad things for you. Like Prospero's approach always in these kind of like divergent markets is to play the middle, right? We're actually trying to like, keep pace. We're up a little bit this week, I think from like 60 to like 63% above the market, right? Which actually to go on that move, it means we're running about like, 70 to 80% above the market on an annualized basis this week to kind of drag our average up, right? So we're doing, above the average this week, but, some weeks it's going to be below the average because we're not pushing the exact right buttons on the hedging, and we're comfortable with that. Like we're comfortable with maintaining our, hopefully increasing a little bit, our 60% up on the market, because we think that's the smart way to play this market. And yeah, I think some people might look at where our portfolio is or theirs and see it going up and be like, wow, maybe Prospero should be doing that much better than us. But no, because that's not really the way we play it. Like in complicated markets, we're going to play it safe. This is what we always do until we have more conviction on the market direction. And like probably at this point, unless net option sentiment on QQQ and SPY starts stabilizing a little more, it probably means that we're going to be kind of waiting until there's clarity on down or QQQ and SPY net option sentiment. Like at this point, it's fluctuating too much on a day-to-day basis. We can't lean on those numbers too much, whether they're high or low. Like we're going to have to see it stabilize at some level for 3-4 days, probably at this point, before we really want to move our portfolio. And even then, we're probably going to be more comfortable, and just staying pretty even long short.
So I think another thing that made the market maybe open up a little bit more bullishly today was the fact that PPI was released this morning, and it came in actually negative, which was a bit surprising, negative 0.1%. We're getting CPI tomorrow as well, and the FOMC meeting is coming up. Does PPI coming in better than expectations or lower in inflation, does that tell you anything about how CPI is going to come out? Are they connected in that way? And also, do you think now the question is becoming more of like, not does the Fed cut, but do they cut 50 basis points instead of 25?
No, I don't think they're going to cut 50 basis points. I don't think, like, even for the Trump Powell feud alone. But I don't think there's necessarily I don't think there's a strong, like, the markets are doing so well. Like anyone, I don't understand anyone wanting to cut rates that aggressively, right? Like typically you cut rates because you're stimulating markets. Yes, there's some problems in the labor markets that are starting to surface, but you have to balance that with inflation. So I think you want to do that slowly. You don't want to overcut and then end up having inflation, especially because we talk about all the time, we haven't seen the full impact of the tariffs yet on impacting consumers. So yeah, I think that I don't think there's much chance of that. I think it's like I'm pretty sure we're just going to get a 0.25 cut. I also expect the market to be to react pretty well to that. Just because like I think Powell is taking these labor numbers seriously. So I don't think he's going to pour cold water on further cuts. I just don't think he's going to be that enthusiastic about, cutting more than 0.25 right now.
Question in our YouTube chat from Jonathan about a Prospero ETF mentioned in a recent newsletter. Looking for a bit of more info on that. How would it be managed? When can we expect it?
So I believe we said 2027 there, like that's how it's on our roadmap for it. Um we Part of like what our next phase of growth, like we are looking at maybe doing smart portfolios with some providers, like kind of like copy trading, but it might not be one of the copy trading platforms, but kind of a similar strategy where it's going to be long, slower update times, inverse ETFs, like that would be kind of like the core of it. um and we're going to start experimenting with different ways. I mean, one of the things we really want to look at, and like we're kind of building alongside the alerts a much larger like simulation engine of different portfolios, like because one of the things we're obviously talking about um is longer a portfolio of longer term holds. And the challenge for us is we're so net option sentiment driven that we call that our process all the time. And it's kind of hard, right? Because, there is going to be instability in net option sentiment. And that's what creates churn. Our hypersensitivity to net option sentiment, to things like momentum score. So we have to create a much more complex simulation engine um, that mostly looks at uh, you know, portfolio simulations and makeups on various strategies for, hedging. We got to look at transaction costs for that because we don't want people to eat into that. So, we might, we really want to do an ETF like long short, which is perfectly, which is perfectly fine. There are long short ETFs. I don't think like, but we probably won't be as high churn as we are in the portfolio right now. But yeah, we have to experiment with that. We have to go through, the legal process. But, before we even go through the legal process, we have to, why it's 2027 is, we're going to spend like, I'd say at least half of this year once we, fully get the simulation engine online, which we will do after we kind of get the trade alerts off the ground, which is like the trade alerts are actually the base of the simulation engine, but a much simpler part of the simulation engine where we're just looking at one stock a day. Obviously, when you start to look at portfolios instead and hedging and things like that, we're not looking at that in the simulation engine for the uh, alerts. And you might say, George, like, don't you always have a simulation engine? We and the answer would be yes. We're always looking at market simulations, but the alerts, the problem with that, we're actually integrating a lot more. We use neural nets, but we didn't use LLMs up until we started, to get closer to our trade alerts release. We wanted to use that, and obviously in those, you worry a lot more about like hallucinations. And really LLMs could just like it, and I've been working with the system for a bit. LLMs could just miss a lot of stuff that I see. So we've been working on, one of the things we do really well, I think better than most, is have these like logic systems at our base. And so what we've been working on before we scale up the simulation engine into portfolios is making sure the logic systems work really well, that the LLMs are not missing what I would view as obvious things in my view in terms of the rank order of stocks. Then that system will be ready to scale up.
ETF follow up from JC. Do you see less churn equals less return?
Why am I not seeing that? Maybe. We don't know that yet. I don't want to I don't want to sacrifice returns. Just like there are some complications with a lot of churn in ETFs or anything that is going to be a registered security. But no, we're not gonna sacrifice. Like I actually think um, my thesis with the simulation engine that I'm trying to prove out is there are ways to leverage LLMs to churn the portfolio less. You'll save on transaction costs, things like that. But no, we're not going to leave money on the table just just to make it easier to follow. Because the whole idea of an ETF is you don't have to follow, you don't have to buy and sell it, you can just own the ETF. But from a regulatory perspective, it like high churn is a bit it's a bit more complicated. But no, we're gonna make sure we get the best returns.
People are curious about this. We have Mario with a comment. Um, Long term is based on unexpected earnings, products, goals versus Prospero on short term sentiment, irrespective of underlying fundamentals. Both have value, but I use Prospero to look at a good time to buy. I guess just a
Yeah.
vouch for the Prospero.
Yeah, I mean that's there's no wrong way to use Prospero. I think there's a lot of right ways to use it. And yeah, I mean that's what's been really cool. Like honestly, if you haven't checked out the reviews on our crowdfund, it's pretty cool. Um and I'll actually find a link here. Like I do like, I would say verse. I mean, obviously these are people that invest, so they probably want to take a little more time to do it. But yeah, like when you read these reviews, you just see like there's so many different ways that people use Prospero, that they leverage it. Like I'm gonna link out to it. It's like it's a testament to our community. But yeah, and the tech. But yeah, like anytime I see one of those come in, and it's pretty cool because right, we've actually had 191 investors, and 30, we are at 30 reviews. So like yeah, 16% of the people that invested felt like they want to explain why they did, talk about their relationship with Prospero. So I think that's pretty cool.
Do you want to share on any thoughts of how the crowdfund's going so far? Did you have any like expectations entering it, and just like how you feel about it? Is it going well in your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think it's going as like, we're almost at 250K in the first, 40 days. And I mean, how like, you know, obviously before it, you're afraid that like, with a $250 minimum, you might be sitting there with like, $30,000, right? Even with like, that same number, if we didn't have some people, we've had some $25,000 checks, we've had some, some larger ones, a couple of tens, like, so yeah, obviously that's how you get there. But yeah, it's been like, a lot of people are also saying like that these things really heat up at the end. Um, and so, uh, that is, um, that's something that like obviously as someone that cares about this going well, me just like waiting until the end doesn't feel like it. So if you're thinking about it, one of the things that we are doing in terms of letting people in, we're running a special on X with some of the influencers that we work with, which we are doing like a special offer to give people 1 week free of the alerts. And that's not investing in the crowd fund. That's just kind of give people a taste of what they're going to be to incentivize them to do it. So you can drop your email here. I'll add you to the list. I actually wish I had let me see if I can get the sign up form and see if people want to do that there. But yeah, that's like, it's actually, for people that are newer to Prospero too, it is, uh, it's a week free of the alerts, a week free um, of both newsletters. Um, so yeah, it's a pretty cool. It's like we haven't. I think it's a pretty cool offer if you want to try the alerts and you're not ready to commit to the crowd fund. I'm gonna try to get the link. Um,
What's been cool for me recently is being with Prospero for over 2 years now. Like, I feel like I've seen Prospero grow up, like watching or seeing or listening to you in these spaces on Twitter with like some of the, biggest FinTwit accounts, like the most respected, the ones that a lot of people follow. It's really cool to see. So it's been very impressive and awesome to see what's been happening so far this year, especially around the crowdfund launch. We have a question in the chat from Horea Pascu, I hope I said your name right, asking about, is the timing specific for any reason why the trading letter goes usually is sent out like right at market close?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, because we make so many moves, like this is just like a funding and staff limitation. Like if we're making 20 moves, like in the middle of the day, and we do that on Monday, and I like shout out to Brent who like does this for us, and who like puts it all in because you have to like you have to go back to the timestamp of the letter, and I try to send it at like even times so you could look at the charts. You got to go back to the timestamp of the letter and type in the tickers, feed it in. So I only make him do that one day a week. At close, you can just grab the close price, and it's just like way easier. We can make all the moves that we want to make. So yeah, unfortunately, that's our limitation. It's just like like I said, it's a funding staff limitation. On the other end, hopefully, what I always say is if you're looking for any feature, anything like any of that in Prospero, the best thing you can do is, invest in our crowdfund. Certainly if we get to the higher end, like closer to the million, we'll be able to do, a lot of stuff. But no, I'd love to be able to write the trading letter, whenever I want. But I'm not the one doing the entry. And yeah, but what I will say is about this, we're making a lot of moves in the trading letter. Like there's no harm in just like using our entries and exits as a watch list. Um, and just looking for the prices that open and seeing that. Like honestly, I'd if I didn't have to like put my stake in the ground on it, I would probably prefer to use it that way. And like the reason we don't do it at open instead of close is at open, that's when our numbers are like the most stale, right? Like nothing's refreshed. At close, at least we have live numbers, so we could see everything when we're making decisions. We're making it in real time. But yeah, like you shouldn't feel any pressure to make the move if uh if you want to see. I mean, yeah, email me, George at Prospero.ai. I'm sure Brent wouldn't mind help. And yeah, maybe if we have a volunteer, we can uh you know maybe do one or two more during the day. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important point, that like especially the trading letter, we don't do it for people to follow, right? There's too many positions, right? That is an idea generation. So the hope is you take what's on like the watch list, what's on the ad drops from the day before, and just see what makes sense to you the next day. Check Prospero at open, check your sources, and just use it as an idea funnel.
So I definitely want to get to the article that you just published recently, but I don't want to steal your thunder and reveal the term that I think you have made yourself. But about this new marketing strategy, possibly, and it relates to our Cracker Barrel coverage. But I'll let you talk more about it and the article you wrote.
Yeah, I alluded to it. I didn't want anyone until it was live. I didn't want anyone to steal my woke baiting term that I believe I coined, and we'll see if it catches on like silent firing. But yeah, like the idea is what we're talking about with Cracker Barrel, where it's just like, yeah, like I don't know. I'm not saying if Cracker Barrel did all this on purpose, but it was kind of interesting. Like as part of this, there was also a line dancing thing they did in Times Square. Um, that it's just like, well, maybe they were trying to like get the attention of media. So maybe various members of the Trump family would talk about it. But like, yeah, it says in the article, like I'll link to the article. And yeah, I know I'm the first one to on the term, because if you type in woke baiting, um, this is the only thing that comes up. But But yeah, like that. I mean, Cracker Barrel actually, after like the stock got hit when they changed the logo and they changed it back, the stock was actually up like almost 6% more than before all of it. So the point of the article is that like, hey, maybe, like what I actually said, I made a joke in it. I was like, I don't think Jensen Wong is going to be trying any like woke baiting strategies anytime soon. But if you're a brand like Cracker Barrel, your sales are stagnant. And you want to find a way, to get eyeballs on your brand in a cheap way. This might be something that brands try, like change your, if you have a logo that like harkens to the past, you change it, you're perfectly willing to change it back, make other overtures. But I actually think the other point of it, and I think this is something to think about that's interesting on like the market side, the political side, is if you look at things like the Dylan Mulvaney Budweiser commercial where a trans person was in it, and Budweiser got slammed, right? And like I'm not making any comments on what brand should be marketing and what audience they should be trying to get in, but what I will say, what the commonalities in a lot of these situations is the response, to people selling Cracker Barrel stock, or, stopping to buy Budweiser products. It's not happening on the other side. Like the people that are like supporting these causes and, making brands, try to appeal to them, they're not coming out and buying Budweiser when their causes are supported. It only seems to be like the anti-woke crowd that is coming here, and I think that's interesting, right? I think it's just like, why is one side, it seems like both sides are very passionate, it comes up in the political sphere a lot, but why is one side a lot more willing to vote with their dollars than the other side, seemingly? I think that's an interesting thing. And it's interesting because if you do care about these causes, if you do care about like, DEI, getting more representation, all that stuff, then, I would suggest you start getting on the other side of these things and, buying Cracker Barrel stock on the other side to, to kind of combat, like to be anti woke. Because the implications of this are, if one side, let's call them the anti-woke side, is becoming a lot more powerful at voting with their dollars, that's the marketing you're going to see. You're going to see a lot more like anti-woke marketing than you're going to see woke, and less. And then this is kind of how I ended it. Like the only time you might see woke marketing now is if, woke baiting is the strategy, because these brands when they're doing, even before Trump was president, right? They're kind of getting hung out to dry when they like, a lot of times when they do, woke marketing campaigns. So I think it's like I wrote about it because I think the implications are the implications are very important, and like I think if you care about these, whatever cause you care about, you should be willing to vote with your dollars. Otherwise, you might not see it represented. Like this is the society that we live in. It's capitalism. It doesn't matter, where something is on the moral spectrum. If companies are going to, be punished financially, for pursuing certain marketing strategies, they're just not going to pursue those marketing strategies anymore.
Such an interesting discussion. I wish we had more time. I would dive deeply into it, but I want to, because the stream is going quick today, but I want to bring up two companies that maybe they should use your strategy and they could use this type of marketing because they're down a lot today. Chewy is one of them, down 17% today. Basically, almost all of its year-to-date gains wiped away, now just up 3% on the year. So that's the first stock. And the other one is Trade Desk, which just can't get out of its own way. It's now down 61% year to date and down 13% today after it came out that Netflix is going to be using Amazon more for ads. Both of these stocks, what do you think of them? Do you like either one more than the other? And then should they try maybe your strategy to flip the script on the companies?
I mean, I think what I think it's a bad time to go for stocks that are on the downswing, right? I think if we enter, more of a bearish time again, I think those are going to be great buys, because one thing that we're consistently seeing, I've actually had to change my strategy a few times on like these small bear runs, like stocks that get hit recover. So, if you want kind of an interesting, like if you're like, I don't short, I don't buy inverse ETFs, like maybe buying a couple of these stocks long is a nice way to like diversify in terms of like what might go up when other stocks go down. But no, neither of those companies are very interesting to me. Both, like I would say overall, and then obviously in their price action. And I got the form. If you Why doesn't it ever like hyperlink? Do people actually have to? Why is it so annoying?
Yeah, I don't think YouTube lets you like click directly. You'd have to copy and paste it.
Here, I'm gonna post it on. I'm gonna post it for on X, and you can find it on our X page. For those that actually want a direct link to it, like under this live stream. And yeah, you can Okay. Yeah. If you fill that out, yeah, for all like obviously, oh, there we go. Obviously, for people that are already invested, that free week isn't going to do you any good. And it's just going to be clear, it's just going to be a free week, right? At the end of it, you're going to lose you're going to lose your alerts access, and then the only way to get access in the October batch will be subscribing. If you want anything more than a week, still the only way is going to be getting your investment in by Monday. But yeah, if you want to try it out for a week and get in on the next batch in October by investing in the crowd fund, then this is a great way to see what alerts are about.
When is it going to be like anybody could buy the alerts? Is it going to be so like November or December then? Like after that October month wraps up?
I think like November or December, like we don't want to rush things. Um and I do want to make it where there's like some reward for the people that committed early. But even in November, the people that got in the first are going to have it 2 months before anyone else does. So I think that's pretty good. But we also want to get a round of feedback, right? Like, like another reason to be in on the ground floor. Oh, I posted it in the comments of this live stream. Or I replied to the live stream on X.
Yeah, so
Live
Isaac, if you just go like to the Prospero page on X, you could see it right below the live. It's like right on our homepage. Easy way to find it. Also, JC said it is a hyperlink on YouTube, so I guess the viewers can click right into it when you share it on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think oh yeah, what I was saying is also you're going to get a chance as someone that, one of the reasons we're doing this is, one of the things I've always found is that, like, especially you could talk to like a lot of VCs or whatever, like, potential angel investors. And one thing that I've learned is like they're going to have a lot of opinions on what to do or whatever. But one of my like rules is like take the advice more seriously of people with skin in the game, right? So by, being an early investor, by getting this first access, you're going to have a chance to form the Trade Alerts product into something that suits you better, information that you want to see more. That's like another chance that you get by being an early investor. We're going to want a lot of feedback, and we're going to be taking the feedback. And that's the other variable. Like if we think there's innovations that we can add that are going to that's going to make it a much better product before we release it to the paid version, we might do that. So we're not going to commit to an exact timeline for people to pay it. But I mean, the economics of it, right? Trade alerts, we're offering 4 months free, where it's going to be a $50 a month product, right? So you're basically paying, you're basically getting a big discount to the valuation, basically like a third, right? So you're basically getting, like, instead of a $16 million valuation on the company, you're basically getting like a $5 million valuation of the company if you would pay for trade alerts anyway.
George, you do want to do the model portfolio today, right?
Oh God.
Or no?
Polygon finally fixed. They finally fixed what was going on with the data, but I don't yet think momentum score is fixed. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way, just with like mainly net option sentiment.
Can we rapid
Um,
fire like last second topics here? Because I got some good ones. They'll make some good shorts. Okay, so Larry Ellison owns 41% of Oracle. Today, when it was up 42%, he was the richest man in the world. I don't think anybody would have expected that at the beginning of 2025. Do you think it can remain this way if we're looking back at it from a year from now? Can he still be the richest man in the world?
yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. Uh, I think that, I mean, like I said, Oracle has a huge potential in that it can drag people into modernizing their tech stacks, modernizing their, they have so many legacy B2B customers. Like, I mean, think about it this way. If you're still using Oracle instead of like Google Cloud, Azure, you're pretty old school, right? So if they're dragging more revenue, dragging these people into the AI age, there's a lot of like dinosaurs that could be a huge revenue potential. Like, we could see if they find a method to the madness, right? If they find a good way to pitch to these legacy companies and get them to spend more, get them to invest more in AI. I don't know too much about their product offerings. Maybe they're offering some different products that make it, kind of more all in one. But yeah, this might not be going away. Especially in terms of the fact that, like, how much of like Tesla does Elon Musk own?
I'm going to guess 16%. I think it's pretty
Wow,
low.
15.73. That was a great guess. That was a George guess there, Stephen.
Thank you. Price is right, though. I might have been a little bit over.
Now, I kind of want to see SpaceX. We're going to just do a rough calc here.
I'm going to guess 30. He's got to own
Oh
more.
yeah, no, this is 42, right? So yeah, I mean, if it was like 10% of each, like, or 16% of each, I could be like, oh, maybe Ellison can do this. Oh yeah, you were telling us this yesterday. Uh, let me. I see 7 right now, and then 57. Yeah, it could just be like on a different. Um, let's see if it's. Yeah, some other ones. 25, 25, IRBT, 24. Yeah, I think it could be on a slightly different schedule, because these other look close. Like TTEK is 40 and 41. Like, my guess is it's just like the screener is on um a slightly slower thread than the actual net option sentiment. But thank you. Now that I have, RHI just went to 7. So it actually looks like the screener is a little ahead, because I just saw net option sentiment come through. So it's possible. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Let's see if T-Tech caught up. T-Tech caught up, right? So it just looks like, now I actually know, it looks like the screener is getting updated slightly before the app. And that makes sense, because the way our system works is the screener is going to be pure back end, in terms of it's just like grabbing those numbers straight from the back end. And the uh, and the app actually organizes, it gets all the metrics, and then it pushes them. So that makes sense. That actually helps that I saw it update right there. That's actually a structural thing, but I'm glad we learned that. The screener is going to be a little faster. Probably what I think is happening there is it's a mid update. The app is going to push like about every 3 minutes. But net option sentiment, some of these other things can like stream in faster than the actual push that's going out. So yeah, there you go. You can see some fresher numbers sometimes in the screener than the app. But yeah, everything I saw, like when that push just happened, all of the numbers caught up. You helped me save my CTO some time here. I'm not going to go to him with this. But I am going to make the switch. Oh, do we have more? Yeah.
We are cutting it close here, so good luck today, George. You're gonna have to bring out those Excel skills.
Yeah, I thought you said you had more. Okay, let me rush.
No, we could switch. We've actually had 3,600 people here today, though, so thank you everybody for tuning in. A great audience for us. So I hope if it's some of your first time in the stream, you enjoyed your time in here and all the topics today. It was great getting all the questions in the chat. I think pretty soon, if we get this much chat support, I'm gonna need to bring very few topics to the streams. Thank you guys. Nick said happy to help. JC, Gilbert, Mario, Isaac, thank you all for commenting up today. Even Horea, Maestro, everybody. Appreciate you all. We didn't get to some of the topics, so if anybody wanted to hear about the Bitcoin miners or the full self-driving topic that we didn't get to today, let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to bring them back up on Monday when we are going live again at 11 a.m. But what we're going to do now is the model portfolio update. So if it's your first time in the stream, George will make live switches to the portfolio, so you get to see what stocks he's adding and dropping. A lot of fun in the stream though today, and a lot of people tuning in. Maybe we'll even hit 4,000 on the day, which would be, I think, an all-time high no matter what. So that would be dope. A lot of people watching on X, so appreciate you being here. George is back with us now. We got to do a check on the net options sentiment levels. Let me give a look in Prospero. Still in single digits. QQQ is at 4, and the SPY is at 9. But we are seeing throughout the stream today, the QQQ has popped back ever so slightly into the green, up 0.02% now on the day.
Oh, you didn't add me. I was talking.
Oh, my bad.
So momentum score is fixed. So we can. I think we're gonna have to do an abridged version where we skip the sectors and just do like opens and closes and but yeah, that should be.
All right, this is good. We have a cliffhanger for Monday. The chat is interested in some of the topics we weren't able to get to today. So we'll talk Bitcoin miners and full self-driving. For everybody that's watching now, tune back in Monday, 11 a.m.
That's like I'm glad I have time on that, because like especially the full self-driving I haven't like refreshed on in a bit. What's QQQ SPY net option sentiment at?
So the SPY is at 4 and the QQQ is at 7.
Jeez.
Let's look at the stock of the day, Oracle, see how they're closing, see if they're able to hold their gains. Oracle is up 36% still. You are not screen sharing, George, if you need to be.
Okay. Let me fix that. This is the tight one. And I'm gonna have to do the investing letter after everybody gets mad at me when I do it after. Okay. Oh, great. I don't even have. All right. We are going to have to. Okay. Come on, don't do this to me.
I see JC in the chat is in my neck of the woods near White Plains. Not too far.
Oh, you asked everyone where they're from?
Yeah, I tried to see if we had any international viewers in here today.
It's a little late for the international viewers, but
True, maybe they watch the reruns.
okay. Oh, surprise. Oracle is on top. Surprise, surprise. I don't think I want to partake in that though. Oh, geez. That is going to be.
JC said, never too late to make money, George. For the international people.
There you go. All right, how am I dealing with? Oh. Okay, how many of these do I have? 38 and 34. Okay. That's like the last thing I wanted to see. I need a boatload. I need to get like a boatload of shorts in not very much time.
Ah, here we go. Hooray is tuning in from Romania. What is it there, like 11 o'clock? Later?
Ah, no wonder he's upset about our the time we do that. He's we're keeping him up all night just to see our moves. But don't worry, just get up bright and early and you'll be fine. Look at how the pre-market's going. Maybe wait till it opens. Like I would actually do this way differently if I didn't have to do like Prospero things specifically. So like yeah, use the benefit of the additional time. Just grab the ones that have like good continuations from what we're seeing.
I must say we have officially crossed the 4,000 viewer mark. So that's pretty great number for us to hit.
Oh, I wonder what's going on with all these financial services stocks. Is there something to read in here? Yeah, what the hell? I'm grabbing one more just because this is insane. I don't think I've ever seen so many of a single sector. I don't know. Should we be concerned? Is this like another weird downside indicator? All right, we're going to be very picky here because of time and APH. What is APH? No, we're really. Maybe we'll grab Wix. That's a bit of a different flavor. We're going to grab Wix.
Amphenol, design, manufacturer, marketing of electrical fiber optic connectors. APH.
And we don't want to get too loaded up on tech. Okay. There we go. Now we got our hedges in there. I think we are on time. And then we are going to okay. All right, we did it, everyone. All right, now, what is our current screener? Let's take a look. Let's see what our current screener is. Bear volatility. I don't mind that bear volatility screener. We don't need to change it just to change it. But let's take a look at these just to see if we can't change our positions and annoy anybody. All right. Oh wow. Okay, we definitely have to annoy some people.
Rosa says hello from Austin, Texas. Jonathan says, interesting to see Duolingo been in a downtrend for a while. Did George just time the bottom?
LRCX. Upside is going down. You know what? We're going to hang on to LRCX for one more day. But EVTC, it's definitely time to get up. Let's look at. Is SCI a win? I mean, I think. Let's look at. Come on, Trading View. Okay, yeah. I think we definitely want. Okay. Yeah. Both of those look good. College, like, really? Okay. Let me look at SXT. Oh, we didn't. Before I go further here, let's take a look at this. See how we might rebalance the portfolio overall. PBTA. Well, what's going on with PBTA? I don't know how it's calculating that momentum score. We are. PBTA closed well. Okay, so I think what's going on with IRBT? Okay, maybe not that. I don't know about SCI. SCI looks to be in decent shape. Okay. We're going to keep SCI. All right. We've made our decision. We're going to get out of EVTC and get into MTN. And maybe we'll keep it a little simpler, actually. MTN is now oversold. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to get out of EVTC and into PAR. Okay, we are done.
We do have one question before we go. Beyond Trench is asking about maybe a feature where they could set an alert if a signal moves a certain amount in the app. Does that sound like anything you'd ever consider in Prospero?
Yeah, so the problem with this one is that we actually are weary of creating a product that people actually that annoy them, right? Like net option sentiment can be pretty volatile. So you could set something at 70 and it could go above 70, below this, that. We want and we think there's a lot of platforms like that. The goal of Prospero is actually to condense information into what we think is relevant, hence the alerts, because we think that's where we're adding the most value, where we just condense it. That being said, it is something that we want to do. It's just not as high on our priority list to say alerts, trade alerts.
So the only way Beyond Trench is to be active in the Prospero app and checking those signals for the time being. But pretty great stream. A ton of people in here. I think we had some great topics, and we even got some for Monday that we didn't get to today that people are excited for. So thank you everybody for viewing. Hopefully you have the rest of your investing week is good. Thank you, George, and we'll see everybody back here Monday, 11 a.m. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, George.